Hi, y'all. We're really excited about episode 6 of the Rusty and Jan show.
Yes, we're actually becoming an institution.
Instead of being in one like I usually am. So,
Speaking of institutions, we were excited to interview Rob Lincoln, who we all know is a musical institution is in his involvement in PASA and his connection to PFS.
and we'll be having our regular segments such as Giggin with Jan, George's Corner, and a head to head discussion about the journey that Jan and I have had to become internet video stars.
Ooh. So if you're ready, let's roll.
roll! When the world comes crashing down on us, they're always there, and they're always happy company because they care. Oh, yes, they care. And when you need to take out pain, well, no one else will do. Dial the phone or go on Zoom. Thank God there are friends like you. I said, thank God there are friends like you. Well, Jan, we're back again. What do you think?
I think it's been a lot of fun so far.
I have to admit, it's a whole new world for us and a little daunting for elderly persons like myself.
That's right. And that's why I'm happy that we're talking about this multimedia journey in our head to head segment.
Exactly. I'm sure people see our show and wonder how we came to this point. I think they'll be surprised at how achievable virtual productions can actually be.
And speaking of another virtual producer, our guest tonight is the prolific songwriter Rob Lincoln.
No, really?
Yeah, really.
Oh my gosh.
How did we get him?
Really? Jan will tell you about our community events and news as well.
And we'll see what George is cooking up in George's Corner.
But first, we're going to play a song for you written by my brother-in-law's father, Harv McCann.
Is that Chuck McCann?
Chuck McCann, the mandolin player. Harv was a piano bar player in the 20s and 30s, performing for tips like Sam did in Casablanca. Remember? Play it again, Sam.
I do remember that.
This song is one that Jan and I find especially fun to play, and it's called Be My Lovin' Baby. Oh, won't you be my lovin' baby? Don't say maybe. When will you say I do? Right now I'm selling only, just for you only. Please make my dreams come true. You make the sun shine for me every day and sky bright and blue. When the stars come out so big and bright, it's all because of you. Oh, won't you be my loving baby? Please don't say maybe. When will you say I do? Shine for me every day, sky bright and blue. When the stars come out so big and bright, it's all because of you. Oh, won't you be my loving baby? Please don't say maybe. When will you say I do? When will you say I do? When will you say I do? And now it's time for Giggin with Jan.
Hello, and welcome to Giggin with Jan. We're certainly excited about the upcoming schedule of guests for the Rusty and Jan show.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a special mystery guest for our St. Patrick's Day special on March the 15th.
Well, gosh and Bagora. Who's that international star going to be?
Guess you'll just have to wait and see. Then on March the 22nd, Jerry Ryan will talk to us about his upcoming fundraiser, Elephants for Autism. And finally, on March the 29th, we will feature another one of our Melilaniites, Keith Shaw. Make sure that you tune in every Monday at 7 p.m. right here on www.facebook.com/guitar-and-flute. Here are some upcoming shows for the month in our community. On March the 20th from 1 to 4 p.m., we'll be having an outdoor, socially distanced show at Melilani Cafe to celebrate none other than Rusty's birthday.
Oh, yes. I was born on the first day of spring. And it's also an escape plan for the pandemically affected.
We'll kick things off with a set of our own, and then we'll be inviting some of our friends to come up and play. And don't forget that Beth Mead and the Paris Swingtones will perform at Melilani on March the 27th. POS, a virtual house concert series, will have a house concert on March the 20th at 7:30 featuring Eric Christensen, Dave Fiebert, and Michelle Miller. I previously mentioned Elephants for Autism, an online fundraiser benefit for Sprouting Connections. It's organized by Jerry Ryan, and it'll take place on March the 26th and 27th and will feature hours and hours of live stream music by many area artists. We, Rusty and Jan, will be performing as well as our friends Lance Fingles and Keith Shaw. We hope that you will tune in and watch to support this very worthy cause. For more information, contact me.
Lance Fingles, isn't he in that great group Flute 66?
Why, yes, he is. In other community news, as previously mentioned, Melilani Cafe will resume outdoor music starting on March the 20th. We'll start booking regular performances starting in April, and we're currently looking for musicians to fill up the calendar. So, if you're interested in playing on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, let me know in comments or by private messaging me. Our good friend and talented singer-songwriter Lisa Jeannette just released her album, Jellyfish on the Moon. It has been well received so far, and I'm definitely excited to receive my copy. To purchase yours, visit lisajeannette.com. You won't be disappointed.
Sounds squishy.
Rumor has it that Spring Gulch is going to have some sort of music event on May the 21st and 22nd. We're waiting for more information, and we'll let you know as soon as we hear something. And now, a word from our sponsor. It's time for George's Corner.
Welcome to George's Corner. I'd like to thank everybody for participating in the weekly virtual open mic. It's been going great, and Rusty and Jan have done such a great job with it, and it's so well attended. Thank you so much for supporting our open mic. And on that note, we are getting ready to do sign-ups for outdoor live music in April at Melilani Cafe. So contact Jan if you have any interest in booking a Saturday or Sunday during the day for some outside live music. I'd also like to let everybody know about how well Poke Ono's doing. We've had them at the cafe for a week. It's been very busy, so come try a bowl. You can come to the store or you can order online at malani.cafe, and you can get curbside, pickup, or delivery. Try poke on a bowl today, and you can get our food. The best part is seeing both of the foods on the tickets. So definitely you can get a musakau or like a tuna bowl or a salmon bowl. So order today. I'd like to thank our guest from last week, Sexy Melanie. It was great to have her interview, and I loved her interview. I'd like to let you know about a tea that we're serving at the cafe. It's a Jefferson Berry Tea made by Craft Tea. It's a limited tea. It's a festival tea, and we're going to be carrying it at the cafe. So if you'd like to order any, just call the cafe and talk to me, and I'll help you with the tea. This week's guest is Rob Lincoln, who's also a very special person to Malani Cafe. He has been performing and, frequenting the cafe since we were in Ventnor. He was a friend of Joey. He's a friend of Joey McGowan, excuse me. And Rob's been played at the Ventnor location with Cubism and Heidi. So they've been part of the Malani family for a long time. And Rob is definitely a great supporter of music and the food. And I remember Rob loves to eat. And I can't wait to hear his interview. And I love his music and his style. He's such a cool folk fest person for me. So I can't wait to hear his interview, and I really miss Heidi, and I hope she's doing better. So we're going to do a little history of Mount Airy now. So during the Battle of Germantown, there was a little ceasefire because there was a terrier that got on the loose, a little dog. It was actually the dog of British General Howie's, and his dog got away, and we caught his dog, and they brought it to Washington. And in Washington, instead of keeping it as a prize, he fed the dog, and then he brushed him, and he formally returned the dog back to General Howie, which is, I live across the street from actually where they do the reenactment, so it's a big part of Germantown and Mount Airy, the Battle of Germantown. So, but thank you so much for everybody checking us out, and I can't wait to see Rob Lincoln's interview. And again, I'd like to thank Melanie from last week, and have a great Monday, everybody. Bye.
Welcome to Head to Head. Because it's been such a crazy year, we thought we would take a break and let you know the sequence of events leading to the Rusty and Jan show.
If you recall, a year ago we were doing our regular open mic on Thursday nights in addition to all of our other live performances.
While we felt that we wanted to continue our musical life in the way it had always been, the pandemic and subsequent lockdown prevented all that from going on.
But we were more concerned about our musical community at the Thursday night open mic at Melilani and what they would do to survive.
We knew we had to do something, so we gathered together whenever equipment we had, and we had built a small studio in our house. It took the open mic virtual.
After doing that, we realized that it wasn't that big of a deal after all. But this is mostly because we had such strong support from our Melilani supporters.
They've been there through many tough times, and they continue to be there even though we changed the game plan. It was actually a lot of fun, and we certainly didn't mind not driving home afterwards.
That's for sure. It actually got us thinking about other possibilities to serve our community, and we thought about a light news and musical program that would provide us all a chance to get to know our friends better.
The interviews have been truly enlightening and informative, and I would encourage you to go to our YouTube page and view them if you haven't done so already.
We have interviews up there already from Terry Ravel, Jefferson Berry, Jeannette and Steve, Charles Nolan, and Melanie Jones.
Now, there were a few pitfalls along the way. Last year, we started with Facebook Live for the open mic, but we found that it was more oriented towards individual performances rather than that of a community.
Zoom had its issues as well. While you could interact more, there was no way to make it public to help advertise Melilani. And then I found out you can live stream a Zoom session to social media platforms, and it became the best of both worlds.
Zoom also had sound issues for music, but it was actually upgraded along the way because the need arose for it to be less of a conferencing software, and that there were people out there making music. So they made some upgrades and changes along the way, and now the music and the sound is pretty good.
The next challenge didn't have so much to do with getting us online as much as it was about helping others. Setting up a practice site on Facebook really helped everyone make the technological leap.
Unfortunately, there were some that were fearful, as understood, and apprehensive but Jan was holding their hand and directing them to the practice site, and she actually did quite a bit to make sure that our community got to a place where they had confidence going online.
And now we're one big
Happy
happy family.
After we got everyone connected, the Rusty and Jan show just seemed like the most logical step.
It really does give us the chance to have fun with our friends, and we look forward to eventually having all of you as guests as we grow our show.
All of them?
All of them.
Oh, my. The biggest thing that we learned was that it was not good enough to survive a pandemic, but we had to adapt to it. We had to find a new way of life. We had to go on living, even though it was a place where we had never been before. We really don't see the virtual world going away either, because it's really sustained so many of us, and we're so happy to do it.
Our next step is to eventually try to get our show on public access TV through Phillycam.
In the meantime, what would really make us successful is to have many people as possible go to our YouTube channel and subscribe and like us. We really appreciate all of the support that you've given us so far, and that's really been over the past years of 6 years at Melilani and the 20 years that we celebrate this year together.
And we should celebrate the other local leaders who have provided us with distraction during these difficult times, such as the Folk Song Society, Ray Naylor, and the many other open mics that have popped up all over the internet to continue to support and provide companionship, entertainment to the many distressed communities.
We had the pleasure of interviewing one of those leaders, Rob Ligon, and this is how it went. Well, folks, we're really excited to have Rob Lincoln with us this week. Those of you who know him know that he's been an institution in the Delaware Valley area. Prolific songwriter, very talented. He can write songs all day long, and he's going to tell us about that experience now. Hey, Rob.
Hey,
Are you blushing yet, Rob?
hey, Rusty. Some people say I should be institutionalized, but you know.
We already made that joke.
We made that joke. Wait till you see.
Okay. Well, it's great to be here. I'm
Yeah.
honored to be with the.
Oh,
Rusty.
well, thank you.
You're always too kind to us, and you've always been very supportive of us. It's really appreciated. But he gets us.
He does get us.
So let's go all the way back. When did you first hear the call of music?
Funny you should mention that. No one's ever asked me that.
I know,
It
we're
actually-
getting really good at this.
Yeah, it's actually happened before I was born. You see, back in the old country, my father's family were all musicians. And they had my last name, which is Kutzik, Kutzik. Lincoln is my middle name, and that's what I'm known for music by, because nobody could pronounce the other one. But also, basically, so they used to say, you want wedding music? Call Kutzik. So it all started in my genes. But then, when I was about 2
I
years
get
old-
it, in your genes.
Okay, but here's where it gets interesting. When I was 2 years old, you see, even though my dad was a piano player or accordion player, and my grandfather, his dad was a sax player and a clarinet player and a violinist, and he left me a violin, and he left my brother a sax and clarinetist, and he's a really fine klezmer and jazz musician. He plays around town with that last name. But anyhow, with me, I started playing violin in third grade, but way before that, my very first musical experience, strangely enough, people didn't sing or play music in my actual household. But what they did do is they gave me all these 78 records that were on the floor, and ironically, they all came from the same company. They were a defunct record company, and my parents got all these children's records. It was called Lincoln records. Interesting, isn't it?
Wow.
And so I started playing all these Lincoln records. Literally, as soon as I could stand, I would reach up to the turntable, play these songs, and get really into them and sing along with them. And my brother was telling me the other day that I used to start crying because there was a song about a little bird that got shot, and then I would like laugh at this. So I was really into songs, and I wasn't that comfortable actually singing in public or doing anything like that. But I liked just like melodies, and I'd make melodies up for myself. My first song, I think, was when I was about 4. My friend and I wrote a song about going to the bathroom, but that wasn't a hit. But then I wrote.
Until you actually did it consistently.
Yes. But then somewhere in 3rd grade, I became the concert master violinist for my elementary school.
Wow.
And,
Impressive.
Yeah, I was a ham. My mom was mad that I would hold the violin over my head and go like this as they cheered me. They said so I knew that I liked the stage by about 3rd grade. Yes. And then after that, I think other things started happening, and I began to start writing at 15.
Wow.
I see.
Who do you feel your musical influences are?
Well, it's interesting. Early influences were at the age of 4, hearing the Beatles for the first time. My brother bought a Something New the Beatles album. It wasn't their first, but that was the first one I heard. And after that, as I got older, I got really into other bands like the Byrds and the Supremes. And I liked the Dead when I was a teenager. I wasn't a true Deadhead. I only went to 6 of their shows, but I've always enjoyed them, particularly the American Beauty and Working Man's Dead album. And so those were my early influences. Then when I started writing, I really wanted to be the next Phil Oakes, except not end like Phil Oakes, but kind of write in that style. And protest songs, I started writing. My earliest songs were like socially conscious songs. And Phil Oakes and Tom Paxton were early influences. But then when I started playing in a band, here's interesting. My main influences in my life musically have not been famous people, but the people I played with. First and foremost, most of these, Steve Lessig. Steve, really, I started playing with him in high school, and he influenced me in terms of like really, he didn't care about the lyrics. He wanted to make sure that musically there was a catchy melody, that it was singable, and that forced me kind of to write in a way that was more concise. I generally write shorter songs, very melodic songs, and so he's a major influence in me, and he's till this day he helps with arranging and does, he's one of my collaborators. My other collaborator, Art Cohen, was a major influence, even though he wasn't as much a writer. He had a vision of kind of like, and he's always been this way of kind of not doing things like the nicey nice way, but kind of a dark side and trying to also kind of improvise. And I don't think I play any song exactly the same anytime, which is partly his fault. But I would say that that annoys my bandmates sometimes, but I don't play anything exactly the same ever. And I think that's part of the way he was kind of brought into music with improvisation.
You know what? It's really amazing. The more we do these interviews, we hear the same things over and over again. Well, my first influence was Ed Sullivan and the Beatles. I mean, it's like a bomb went off that night and affected everyone our age. It's just amazing.
Yep.
And then your influence of your playing with another person.
Very much so. Very much
no
so.
One, no one knew my name until Jan Alba was associated with it.
I don't know about that, but
if anybody
an
influenced me and helped me get to a higher level, I think most people would agree that she's done great things for me.
Am
Absolutely.
I blushing now?
So yeah, I mean, there's probably 2 other major influences musically in my life, 3, and one of them. The 2 that you don't know, one's a guy named Kurt Chiappardi, who is the most natural musician I ever met, and I played with him in the 80s, and he literally could pick up any instrument, whether it was a stringed instrument, a wind instrument, percussion, was just a natural ability. And I think my guitar playing is how he influenced me. I think his rhythmic style, I don't quite have his style, but that was a big influence. And then finally, of course, there's Heidi Wolfson, who really kind of connected me with the whole performing and everything. But anyhow, we'll get into my songwriting in a minute, and I have one other kind of anecdote on that. Hopefully we can talk about that.
Yeah. So now here's the deal. More than anyone I know, you write more songs. Now, I just heard last month, you wrote 31 songs.
That's incredible.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's just face it. More than anyone I know, you write a lot of songs. Why is that? Why are you compelled to write more than the rest of us?
Okay, well, first of all, I don't want to take credit for being the most prolific person you know because I know three people, you know all three of them, that have written more songs than me, so I want to give them credit.
Okay.
One, of course, is the great Charles Nolan.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
The other is the Steve Collette, who
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
wonderful singer-songwriter, and one of the finest guitar players I know around, Mike Spears.
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
Spears. Those three guys have written more songs than me. So, but the difference with me is that I'm continuing to write a lot of volume, and I'm also documenting everything. So I have over 500 songs on YouTube. I have pretty much every song recorded and ability to recall them if I have the words in front of me. But what caused all this really was one guy to start with, and his name was Joe Hurwitz, because he was in my band, and he's a phenomenal singer-songwriter. He goes under a different name, Joe Rathbone. But basically what he did is he saw me trying to write the perfect song, and he was getting pissed at me because I had to go down and we had to start playing. And he said, why don't you stop trying to write the perfect song and just write lots of songs, write a lot of bad songs, just write. So I thought about that, and then I started doing that. And he's had a unique style where he doesn't write like a lot of literal songs. He has songs that are very poetic and kind of don't quite tell the whole story. And I kind of got really into that over the years. So that got me started. In the last few years, I've been writing exclusively during FAWM, February Album Writing Month, FAWM.org, which is a international phenomenon.
Yeah, tell us a
So
little about that.
yeah, so I started in 2009. I think Aaron Nathans told me about it, or through Sharon Abbott. Sharon Abbott with Posse at the time. And Aaron Nathans, of course, is a wonderful singer-songwriter, plays with Michael Ronstadt. But anyhow, I then began to spread the word to everybody I knew in Posse, and a lot of them have come in. And Posse's Philadelphia Songwriters Alliance. We'll talk about them a little bit maybe. But basically, see, I'm trying to get a lot of things in here. I'm very fast.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we got time.
But basically, FAWM, the idea is to just write 14 songs in 1 month. And my first year I wrote like 17, and it went up and up and up. So eventually I thought I was washed up, so I went down to like 16. And then the next year I think I had 40. So for 2 years in a row I got 40 in a row, and then I got 31. But I'm only writing at FAWM now. I can't write anywhere else because it's like my job that I have to write during FAWM. But I can't write any other time now. So I have to kind of figure out a way to train my brain that I have to write other times. So I have a few ideas I might run by you later on. One of them is to try to weekly write 2 songs, and maybe even do something weekly with people, maybe even Rusty and Jan. We don't know.
Oh, well,
Okay.
we would just love to.
Yeah.
We would love that.
If they want to listen to it, that's, as long as I got a listener or two. So basically, so how do I write, and why do I write a lot of songs? I write a lot of songs because I'm very easily bored. I talk quickly because by the time I'm finished what I said, I'm already bored of myself. So I have to always just keep doing stuff to keep myself interested.
Wow.
And the way that, I don't.
ADHD?
What's that?
ADHD?
Definitely.
Oh, get out of here. That's
Yeah.
another common theme in musicians. My God.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I write a lot, and I was going to mention Heidi. I mean, Heidi Wolfson
Yes.
is like the quintessential, best songwriter I've ever met, and she's quintessential, gets to the core of her truth and her life and the things around her. And I'm kind of, in some ways, I'm like the opposite. I have to imagine things outside my life in order to write in that kind of volume. So I think I have a lot of imagination. I think I have I would probably have over 100 characters in my songs over the years. And I have to kind of put myself in different zones. So, I get in a zone where I'm like feeling like I'm in the 1960s, and I'm in England, and another zone where I'm this like cowboy. And it just in my brain kind of gets me motivated that way. So I have all these different songs with different personas and stuff.
Didn't you write that song? I think it was Brent Ellison covered about Santa. He gets shot.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God, that was good.
Yeah,
Such
so
a
Santa
good
got
song.
shot. I wanted to write a nice Christmas song, and that's what came out. You see, the trick is for me is not to say I'm going to write a very specific story or not to write something. I just let the music come out, and I'm saying, I want a
Exactly.
Christmas song. What happens here? And then it just develops. Just like some writers say that they don't know what's happening next. I never know what's happening next to my song. I never know what's going to come out. I never can plan it. It just comes out, and then I look at it and say, well, this doesn't make sense, and then I'll try to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Or look at it and say, oh, that's what I was talking about, and then I leave it alone. And I
That's
think
another
with
common
the Santa
theme.
getting shot, Santa needed to get shot, I guess, in that song.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to write songs that have a theme that haven't been covered before, an idea that no one thought, well, that's, another perspective, So, Yeah, but you know what? Now I've heard that before. People say write a song every day, and then you'll end up with a good song. So, but the people I've talked to who've done that, they've thrown away the songs they didn't like. That's like throwing at one of your kids. I don't get that. I just don't understand.
Well, yeah.
I think a lot of people are like that. I think we're kind of the exception where we keep everything. And I, of course, went to the extreme by keeping every song since the age of 15 and releasing it as one album.
Right.
And my 300-song album, this is an interesting fact. I ran that idea by every person I knew. I said, I'm going to just release everything I ever did and just like demos. And every single person from my family to my musician friends, everybody said, that's not a real good idea. Why don't you put your best foot forward? And I said, well, I just want to do it. It's different. That's one thing other people haven't done. I want to, it's something that I do well. I write a lot of songs, and most of them aren't like really terrible. They're at least okay.
Yeah.
So the only person in my entire world, of everyone I knew, hundreds of people, the only person that encouraged me was Christine Winchester from Pasta.
Geez,
She
yeah.
said, yeah, why not? So I told her that
Another
recently.
influence.
She
I
said
thought
she,
Go ahead.
she said she did that because she said she wished she could have done it. So she said, yeah, why not?
I would have thought you would have said Heidi was the one who encouraged you.
I think Heidi likes my good songs. I don't know if she likes but she's very supportive, actually. She's been one of the most supportive people of ever of my music. But yeah, even if she had more sense than that. So what I did.
So where can we get that? What's the name of that album? Where
It's
can
called
we get
5 cents a song.
Uh-huh.
So you have 300 songs at 5 cents. So it's for $15. You can just send. You just email me at lincolnsongs@aol.com, lincolnsongs@aol.com, lincolnsongs@aol.com. I'll get it to you. You can probably find it on the internet also. Digitally, it's on Spotify, but only the 23 sampler, 23 songs is on there. So you only get 23 songs on Spotify.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah, if you want all 300, a couple of DJs have delved in. I have to give Reed McCardle a shout out. He delved in and picked out some of the 300. And also John Weingart from WPRB actually played something out of the 300. But definitely it's all.
Well, you know, what I hear most DJs, you're really lucky if they actually take the time to look at your music, So that's impressive that they did.
And they sat there and listened to 300 of them, so that's saying something.
I don't know if they really listen to all of them.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I would.
I hear you.
I know Joey McGowan listens to every single one. I can tell you that
of
for a
course.
fact.
That's right.
He is a great supporter of.
That's another guy we have to have
music.
on the show.
Yeah,
Definitely. He has
that
a really interesting musical life story and incredible supporter of songwriters.
Everybody we've talked to, as you peel away the layers and we find out who they really are, really fascinating people.
And they all think they're boring.
And the reality is we've known these people for 20 or more years and we never knew anything about them.
What's the weirdest song that you've ever written, Rob?
Oh, that's tricky. I've written a couple. Let me see. I've had at least 2 songs from the perspective of insects. One in which it was a firefly caught in a jar, and the other a cockroach that was the survivor of a nuclear holocaust and now ruled the world. Those get there. There's another song, obviously my cannibal song is well known, Alfred Packer. And I've had many songs from the perspective of murderers, but probably my weirdest one is so weird I can't really tell you what it's about. You can look it up. It just says a very, very strange song, but I'll give you a clue. It's about a mad scientist that wants to clone a particular historical figure from Germany and during World War II, but he wants to create a beard rather than the mustache, and that's his goal in life. Now we don't know why exactly, and it's kind of twisted. That's pretty strange. I have some other strange ones too. Those are the ones off the top of my head.
Oh, well, why don't you play us one of your new songs?
Yeah, so
And
this
it
isn't
doesn't have to be
strange.
weird.
This one's not strange, I don't think. So this one is one of my brand new songs, first time it's ever been played, so hopefully I'll be able to play it. So basically it's from Form. It's a week or 2 old. I guess it's 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old. And it's the idea that we're not going to be around here at some point in time, but if we're on the internet, you never will know who will see you. And I realize sometimes I may not ever meet my not only my great-grandchildren, but maybe not meet any grandchild. I don't have any grandchildren. So this is in a tuning that's in Nick Drake's tuning. It's called Digital in Digital Eternity. To the grandchild I'll never know, I want you to hear I love you so. How I wish that I could be there to see your destiny. So I go, you will go. To the grandniece I'll never see, be whatever you choose to be. And I hope that you will know all the ones who love you so. So I go, you will grow. And they say, so they say, you'll be captured in the air. You will be, no matter if it's fair. In digital eternity, in digital eternity. To my cousin's children I did not meet, how I wish you lived down the street. But you are just too far away. Perhaps there'll be another day. So I go, you go. Oh, great, 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 great grandson, you may be the only one. Or perhaps you'll never be. And then what will become of me? So I go, you will go. And they say, so they say, in not too many years, you will be through laughter and the tears, in digital eternity, in digital eternity, in digital eternity.
Awesome. Yeah. I love that concept.
Do you think you get better as the years go by as a songwriter?
I think I get a little bit more sophisticated on some of my songs. You know, I've been exploring different tunings, and you know, I never thought Nick Drake would be an influence because
I hear the Nick Drake influence on that one.
I'm like as you know, I have a sunny personality, very upbeat, hyper, and the same guy that told me to write lots of songs, and you know, he also said, "Why don't you check out Nick Drake?" So about 30 years later, I decided to check him out.
Me too.
You know, and there's just something very different. It gets a different part of my personality, and I just love the sound of the tunings.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So anyhow, it seems like we started off, at least many of us, and perhaps even myself, we started off with the intention of being rock stars and delivering our message to the common people and so on and so forth. And then we became community leaders. You know,
Interesting.
we have our large groups of people who depend upon us to deliver and take care of them and hold their hands and all. And you've always done so much of that. And of course, we take great pride in that as well. And we know that much of how you deliver that is through your involvement with the Philadelphia Area Songwriters Alliance and, of course, with the Philadelphia Folk Song Society. Let us know a little bit about that.
Thank you. Yes, we do have that in common. You give
Yeah.
back so much to the musical community, you and Jan, and that kind of makes it more meaningful to be part of a community.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting. I would say, first of all, for the Philadelphia Folk Song Society, I mean, they are the organization for songwriters and traditional music and roots music. They are just the most, not only the most important musical organization in the Philadelphia area for that type of music, but probably in the country. They create the Philadelphia Folk Festival, which is still going on, the longest running festival. But I can't really take any credit for them. You've been more involved with them. I'm just very thankful that Justin Nordell, who is their executive director, agreed to have PASA partner once a month with one of their open mics. And that's the
great
piece that
idea.
I'm involved in. So PASA is the Philadelphia Area Songwriters Alliance. So we're not a 501c3 like PFS. We're really a loose conglomerate, a club, so to speak, of more than 400 songwriters. And really anybody can be in PASA. But if you're in the Philadelphia area, that's when normally you'd be able to headline. It's kind of gotten weird with the virtual, but it's been great. We've been picking up people who at least can do some of the open mics and or the open chairs at our house concerts. Wherever you are, you can do that. So we're really glad to have met a lot of new people there, but it's just a great collection of singer-songwriters from people who just play in their basement and come out to play with their friends, and others who are international recording stars. We've got people that are really, incredible. Everybody's talented, but I don't want to drop names, but there's
I
different
don't
people.
think they'd mind.
Okay, well, you got Catherine Rondeau,
Yes.
who's a national folk figure, Marion Halliday.
Right.
You want to stay tuned and look out for Lisa Jeannette.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Her new album.
I know I'm going to forget
came out.
other great people. There's, obviously the legendary Terry Revelle, and you've got Reed McCardle, and you've got all these people, and Heidi Wilson, of course, and Cubism. But, I'm going to forget people, Nancy Hebner, and I'm going to now piss off all my friends at PASA, but there's just so many talented people. My apologies if you didn't get me. I'll probably look at this again and say, "Oh my God, I forgot them." But those are just
We'd
a
be
few.
here
of
all
the
night
great
if we
people,
listed them all.
But just
You know
great
what?
singer-songwriters.
It does bring up another question for you. One of the most special things I enjoy about the music career that I have is the Cover Me party. Oh my God!
Love the Cover Me party.
It's definitely the keystone of everything once a year, and that was Heidi Wolfson's baby. She conceived of it, and she's run it every year. This year she's been having obviously health challenges, but she still was there, not just in spirit, but did a great cover of Julianne Ott. I better mention Julianne Ott. I played violin with her.
right.
She's a wonderful
Bring her
songwriter.
husband around.
Yeah. So basically, so she covered a Julianne Ott song, and Heidi Wilson's, along with Christine Winchester, myself, Wes Powers, and and David C. Perry are really the people that run the organization.
Yeah.
I do all the house concerts. I created the day-long events, at least a song fest. So I keep running the Summer Song Fest, and I run the house concerts. And now I have a great team that helps behind the scene named Rusty and Jan. So that's been a lot of fun.
As I said, we're all one big happy family.
Right. We all help each other. So.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
So, what is your dream gig? Is there a venue that you've
Wait a
always
minute,
wanted?
I had another question I wanted to ask you.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you like better, on-site or virtual?
Almost every person likes on-site better. And
Yes.
on-site is better for me as a performer because I interact a lot. I'm very interactive.
Yeah.
So certainly as a solo performer, I really am not a good solo performer. I don't beautiful voice, no. But the interaction is what makes me a stronger performer. So the obvious answer would be live. But I have to admit, more than almost anybody else, I love the virtual because I don't like, I'm kind of a homebody. I don't like getting around all that much. So I can now, I've probably seen my musician friends more than I did
I know,
before.
right?
Absolutely.
So I actually really do like this, and I don't think it's going away completely.
I don't either.
And you can reach more people. People will see you all over the world. So it's really cool.
And I, for one, don't mind the ride home. So
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Because she's usually the one driving. That's why.
yeah, I'm the night driver.
Yeah. But
So can I ask-
definitely, you go ahead. Yes.
No, so can I ask my question now?
Yes, please
Okay.
do.
So again, what is your dream gig? Is there a venue that you've always wanted to play, or an artist that you would like to collaborate with?
Well, first of all, I've had my dream gig with Lessig and Lincoln and Cohen. We've now played twice the Philadelphia Folk Festival. That was my dream at the age of 17 to someday play there. So
We have
everything
that
else is
dream.
icing on the cake.
Right.
But
I have to agree with that, don't
yeah.
you, Jan?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I'd like to play. I'm thinking, it might be fun. Now that I say I'm a homebody, it might be fun like once a year to tour up and down the East Coast, maybe play past Seams in Boston, or, I know we'll never get into that one in Sarasota Springs, but there's a couple of nice clubs.
Terry Ravel proposed that we rent a bus and go on tour. What do you think?
All right.
All right.
I can bring my band with me.
There we go. That's good. Better be a big bus.
Yeah.
Right?
That'd be fine.
Did you have a question?
No, I did not.
Oh,
I think Rob was in the middle of answering our question.
Right.
Yeah, as far as collaborators, I just love everybody I've had the opportunity to play with. I was thinking about who would I, obviously, I met, the obvious ones you want to play with, these amazing, Jerry Garcia. He wouldn't be much of a guitarist right now, but he was, but.
Terry Merriman?
Terry Merriman's a great
Wow.
musician, absolutely. But basically, I've kind of gotten to play with a lot of the people I've wanted to play with. I'm a big fan of Amy and Jenny. We were a band in the 1990s. So Amy Torsha sang on one of my songs, and then I got to perform with Jenny. That was a big deal.
Wow.
They're not famous, but I'm like a huge fan of theirs.
I can tell you that there's one way that I feel like you are different from all the other musicians and their type of music. When I was young, before the Beatles and such, or around that time, I was into Come On Down to My Boat Baby and all those songs of the 60s, the beach music and that whole influence. And you do that very well. You really do that very well. And I think, if I'm right, that it calls to you, that type of music.
I love 60s music. When people ask me to describe my music, I say, whether it's kind of folk finger picking or whether it's garage rock or whether it's more pop folk, it's all 60s sounding to some degree. I just kind of am stuck in that whole thing, but I love it. And occasionally I'll have an 80s sounding song or even a 90s. I have a few like Nirvana type sounding songs.
Yeah.
But,
how you doing with 2020?
2020 as far as the year, not my favorite year, but
Yeah, right.
but I got to write last year 40 songs, so I guess I'm happy in that respect. But I'm trying to think, as far as like musicians, I'm a big fan of Reina del Cid, which I recommend people listen to. Been listening to a lot of that band. They're new. They're definitely my favorite musicians under the age of 40 that are actually current. Although they do a lot of 60s stuff. They write. Reina del Cid's a great writer, and Joey McGowan turned me on to her. So I recommend people check them out. Great musicianship. They have a great guitarist named Tony Lindgren. But basically, Reina del Cid, they're fun. I don't know if I'm not going to get to play with them, but I enjoy listening to them a lot. So yeah.
So do you have another song for us?
I always have. I could play another 679, but I won't. So I was telling you about my maturity. Now I'm going to totally ruin that with this one. This is
Another new one that you just wrote?
Yeah, another one written within the same week, but quite a different. If that was my kind of getting into a British 60s vibe, this is my alternate cowboy vibe. This one's especially for you and Jan because you say you like my yodeling, so I decided to finally write a song with some yodeling. Came into town on my old horse, dusty boots, thirsty of course. Looked a fine, sweet little you, so we can do the hoochie coo. Whap-a-doodle, whap-a-dap-a-doodle, whap-a-doodle all day. Whap-a-doodle, you're my little strudel, take them blues away. Whap-a-doodle, you always use your noodle and you whap-a-doodle all day. That's all I need to say. You know that I'm a thirsty guy. Point that bottle to the sky. Drink my whiskey from a shot glass too, but it also keeps you from the blue. Whap-a-doodle, whap-a-dap-a-doodle, whap-a-doodle all day. Whap-a-doodle, you're my little strudel, take them blues away. Whap-a-doodle, you always use your noodle and you whap-a-doodle all day. And that's all I need to say. Soon I will be leaving town, riding plains rodeo bound. But you'll see that I'll be back in time, 'cause I am yours and you are mine. Whap-a-doodle, whap-a-dap-a-doodle, whap-a-doodle all day. Whap-a-doodle, you're my little strudel, take them blues away. Whap-a-doodle, you always use your noodle and you whap-a-doodle all day. That's all I need to say. And you whap-a-doodle all day. That's all I need to say.
Yay!
Woo, what a fun song.
Oh, yeah. Well, we really want to thank you so much. You know, I've been looking forward to this interview for a long time because I've known you for many years, and I've known that you're very interested and would have a lot of stories. So this has really been fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Got to talk. Always like talk. Got to sing. Got to play. It's
So
a
why
lot
don't you
of fun.
tell our listeners or viewers? We have viewers.
We have
All right.
Why don't you tell them how they can hear more from Rob? What was his last name?
Lincoln.
No, that wasn't it.
Thinking of the guy who got shot.
Oh.
Yeah, I've had people criticize Abraham Lincoln because of me. It's amazing. I got some people don't like Abe. But anyhow, yeah, I have a song. I have lots of songs about presidents. That's another story. So actually, the best way to hear my music and to hear Lessig and Lincoln and Cohen, first of all, check Lessig and Lincoln and Cohen out on Spotify. You can check Lessig and Lincoln on Spotify too. But the way to get my music, which will have more than 30 different playlists, go to YouTube. This is really the way to do it. Go to YouTube, write in your search, one word, Lincoln Songs and More. One word, Lincoln Songs and More. Hit your playlist, and you're off to races. You could hear songs on any subject you want. I have an entire playlist just on songs about John F. Kennedy's assassination. I've got playlists on anything you can think of.
Does it say who did it?
I could tell you, but we'll do that offline. The CIA may be after me, but anyhow, yeah, and they're all originals of mine. But I also have other people covering my songs, and I have some of my other musical friends on there as well.
Now
That's why
we've
it's the
covered you
N-word.
as our.
You've covered me 3 times.
Yes.
Yep, I think I remember one was Lucky Day, the other was Colors of Love. Nobody has ever done either of those two, but the other was Mango, which is like everybody does Mango.
we need to get copies of them. Yeah, I especially like Lucky Day.
They'll all be on my playlist. They're all there. I'm not sure if all 3 are. 2 of the 3 are definitely on my. People have covered me. I have about 50 covers now, so that's a lot of fun. Anybody who watches, you can pick up my album. You get all the lyrics, all the chords, and cover away.
Sounds
All
great.
right. Well, thanks again, Rob.
Oh, now
Thank you.
there's an open invitation for us to cover you. Is that right?
Absolutely, and an open invitation for your viewers as well.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say to them is, if they subscribe to my YouTube station, I'll subscribe to anything you want.
There we go. Let's talk about the importance of like and subscribing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So,
All
all
right.
right. We love you, buddy, and
This is fun.
I can't wait to have this up online. I'm sure it's going to get a lot of nice attention.
Yep.
Been a lot of fun, and thank you again. I really appreciate keep that wonderful flute playing and that wonderful guitar playing, and
Thank you.
I'll be seeing you soon.
Down the road.
Great.
Definitely.
Okay.
Take care.
Well, that concludes episode 6. Wasn't it fun, Rusty?
It's always fun with you, Jan.
Aww.
I must admit, every week we do this, the stress becomes less and it becomes more fun.
Well, speaking of fun, wait until you see next week's show. We have a few surprises in store for you.
Oh, yes. We'll be interviewing a special international guest, but it won't be St. Patrick. He can't make it.
I doubt that. It's a secret, so you'll have to tune in to see who it is.
Oh, Jan, you're always so full of surprises. And I hope you won't be stealing me Lucky Charms.
Don't worry about that. All right. Well, I have to keep you on your toes.
Yes, you do that.
We really hope that you're enjoying our show, and we also hope that you'll let us know what you think in comments. We're trying to make something of value for all of us, and we appreciate your help so far.
We like to close the show with a song that I wrote. It's about how you can love somebody even though you got to let them go. It's called Come Away With Me.
That sounds sad.
It's very sad. This is a story about two young lovers. Lived over somewhere near Haddonfield. They knew each other since kindergarten. And they were very, very, very close. But now it was a new day. She's going away. See, this all happens in a train station. He's there to see her off. Doesn't wanna. And she's off to seek some adventure. Gonna try it in the big city. This is what she says. Come away with me. Come away to the city with me. Come away, we can get free. Come away with me. He always prided himself that he was a good friend. And he cared. And he was there for her. And even now, when he wants her to stay, he's going to encourage you to seek out that dream. Go after it once and for all. So in the spirit of friendship and love, he says, go away from me. Go away to that city without me. Go away, find a way you can get free. Get away from me. She sees him standing there and she don't want to leave him. She's never been on her own before. She's never been without him right there by her side. It's got to be hard, but she knows she's got to do it. So one more time she looks back at him and maybe if she says the right thing, things can be different. This is what she says. Guess I'll go and be free. I'll be far away and you'll never see me. In that city, you know that's where I'm gonna be. Oh, but are you sure you can't come away with me? Please, please, The whistle blows, the conductor calls out, time to go. And then this train's moving slightly away as they're holding hands. And then it gets too much for them and he's got to let go. It's hard. And as the train pulls away, he looks down and sees her fading away, and this is what he says. Stay with me. Oh, come on. Just stay with me. Oh, babe.